San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one, Jon and Jim. It is wedding week for Jim. We've got you covered for the next 3 hours as the Padres will play a second game today. We got a really good show lined up for you. Ryan Donovan is San Diego State's head golf coach. He coached Xander Schauffele on the Mesa. He'll join us at 3:30. Bryce Miller has written about Xander. He'll join us at 4 p.m. Alan Sleewa will get us ready for the NBA Conference Finals. He'll join us at 5:30. There's a lot of places we could start, including your wedding. I think we'll have time for it over the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
To be fair. So we'll get to it. But before the Padres play their second game, let's hit on where they are, because last we spoke on Friday, the Padres were entering a series against a 15-5 home team in Atlanta.
One of the best records.
One of the best home records in baseball, maybe the best. And the Padres had been very good on the road, but they were coming off a 3-game home sweep at the hands of the Colorado Rockies. And to the Padres' credit, they have continued to play excellent baseball on the road. We'll hear from Mike Schilt after game one in a moment, but I think none bigger than what happened here earlier today. This is one of their more impressive wins of the season. You could argue the 8-0 cover behind win against Chicago is right there. But the manner in which they do it, they lose Xander Bogaerts to a shoulder injury, apparent shoulder injury early. Dylan Cease didn't have it. They go down 5-0. And then this is who they are. They just kind of hang around, put together another 4-run inning, got really good bullpen relief pitching in this game, and they steal a game from Atlanta. They've won 3 straight games from Atlanta, and now a game away from potentially a 4-game sweep on the road, which would be unbelievable.
Yeah, I have no idea how to explain this baseball team. I really don't. They're one of the best teams on the road. Maybe I'm explaining it right here. Is they're one of the best teams on the road in baseball, and they're one of the worst teams at home in baseball. And what does that get you? Around a 500 record. But just the way that they play on the road and the way that the offense is different, the way that they compete on the road, the way they battle on the road, it's just night and day from what this team is at home. They've had a couple home games where they have shown what they have consistently done on the road this year. The 8-0 comeback against the Cubs. But on the road, they are just a consistent team. They're a very good team on the road. And today's game in the morning, down 5-0, you're like kind of sitting there saying, all right, well, let's just hope that this potentially really good 4-game series where you could have won at worst 3 out of 4 games here doesn't turn into like a split. Because the worst thing that could happen is you win the first 2 games and then you lose the last 2 and it's a split and you're like, okay, that just felt worse than it really was. But no, to their credit, they battled back, they fought, they grinded it out, and they end up winning 6-5 today. The bullpen has found their 8th inning setup man in Jeremiah Estrada. What a revelation that guy was today and over the weekend. I mean, getting his first career save the other day, and striking out the side on Friday night, becoming another weapon in that bullpen other than Robert Suarez. Because what's the one thing that this bullpen was missing? Another flamethrower right-hander that you could put in some crunch time situations and not always have to rely on Robert Suarez for a 4-out, maybe a 5-out save, because over the course of a season, that could catch up to him. So now with Jeremiah Estrada in the mix, being the 8th inning guy, he has now, given Mike Schilt enough confidence to have him be put in that situation now for the foreseeable future. I mean, just compared to where we were on Wednesday afternoon, Jon, to where we are now, it's crazy, and it's the highs and lows, and it's baseball, and it's stupid.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll say what I said heading into the Rockies series, which is I really do like this team, and I do think they're different from 2023, and nobody said the sky was falling, even though Mike Schilt said nobody's saying that the sky is falling in the clubhouse. To some of the media questioning after they got swept by the Rockies. I'll tell you, the amazing part about baseball, we've said this a lot with like AJ Preller teams, that he can put together a front-loaded team, right? Like a star power-laden team. Then you look at like pieces 20 through 26, and maybe they don't hold their end of the bargain. But I'll give you an example. Today, you're able to have a 27th player when you're playing a doubleheader. So they activate a 27th player by the name of Logan Gillespie.
Oh, he was huge today.
And they are on the verge of getting blown out. Yep. It's 5-0. Dylan Cease goes 4 innings. Logan Gillespie comes on. Was this his major league debut?
I think it might have been, yeah.
The bases are loaded. It's a 3-ball count. They're about to go down maybe 6, 7, 8, 9-0 in the spot. He strikes someone out, keeps it at 5. Gillespie and Brito combined to go 3 scoreless innings, which gives the Padres a chance to get back in the game. The other huge play for me, so Xander Bogaerts, this could be win a game, lose a war. Although Bogaerts, we know,
that's not great to win a battle, lose a war.
Correct. Because if you lose Xander Bogaerts, this could have been that if they lose Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah.
But then again, what does Xander Bogaerts really meant? That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
So we'll see how long they lose Xander Bogaerts. But Xander Bogaerts gloves a ball when he left due to injury that I thought he had no chance in the world of getting to. If he doesn't get to the ball, at least 2-run score as opposed to 1. It would have been 6-0 as opposed to 5-0. And who knows how the game ends. So there were those like little moments, Gillespie getting out of a bases loaded spot, Bogaerts gloving a ball on a play he gets injured on, that keep the Padres in it enough for them eventually to take advantage and win. And then there's advantage and win. And then there's Manny Machado. Machado, who's been maligned, who has struggled to hit, with men in scoring position, had a big hit today. He just did. A 2-run double, down 5-4 in the 8th inning is a big hit, and the Padres go on to win 6-5. So you needed everything to work out in the second half of the game, and guess what? It did for the Padres.
This show never doubted Manny Machado.
Never at all.
If anybody's ever critical of Manny Machado, shame on you today.
Mm-hmm.
Shame on you.
I agree. I wouldn't tweet about it.
I wouldn't either. Oh, wait, I did.
Right. I did too.
You made a good point. Like, throughout the course of a season, if you're going to be given this many at bats like Manny, and also Manny's one of the best, he's one of the better players in baseball when he's at his best.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done it for a long time, right? He's going to get some hits in crucial moments.
I hope so.
He's I hope so too.
Yeah, I hope so.
You know, he's going to get some big time hits. Over the course of his career, John, you could look at his numbers and say, yeah, he's been clutch.
Yep.
But we've actually done the deep dive. In the last 2 years, he's not been.
Correct.
So, like, that's what I'm going off of. And that's what sports is. It's like, what have you done for me lately? You know, it's the facts of like, hey, do I care about what you did to me for me 5 years ago in the sport? Or is it about right now? It's about right now. And right now, Manny Machado struggled. Right now, the last, 50 games, or, how many games they played this season?
49.
49 games this season. Manny Machado has not been clutch. He's come up with some moments, but not enough moments. He's failed more than he has succeeded in those clutch time moments. But today he came up big. I don't think it's to sit here and be like, see, I told you, Manny's clutch. Well, hold on, guys. The numbers say otherwise for right now. This is a good start. I would like to see more, obviously. You can't just have one moment. You need to have more of these moments. And that was a great moment today for, this team and him, because he was struggling mightily to get that big hit in a game where everybody thought after going down 5-0, they're not going to win.
What if I told you, and we'll hear from Mike Schilt in a moment, what if I told you that, and I may be missing one, Jim, I think that's the only big clutch hit he's had this year, hear me out, when the team has been trailing late. He had a big moment when they were running a 5-game losing streak where they put the bat back in his hands. They were up 1-0, and he came through. There was a moment in Korea, they were up 12-11 in the 9th inning. Yeah. He had a 3-run home run. I know he's had another hit with men in scoring position trailing. Make no mistake.
Late in the game?
But I'm saying late in the game to tie it or give them a lead in game 49, to your point, which is 1/3 of the way through the season, 54 games is, but we're approaching 1/3 of the season. That's his first marquee late inning moment, game on the line. If you don't come through, you lose. If you do come through, you win moment. Mm-hmm. But he's being paid to do it way more often than he's done. Now, maybe this starts something. He had a couple of hits today. Truth be told, Jim, Machado's had a couple of decent days. Bogaerts, before this injury, had been playing better. Fernando Tatis Jr. has had some moments. Like we always say, if they can get that group going, and now we wait on Bogaerts. Yeah. This team's 25-24. Like, this team is in a position where if they win today against Atlanta in game 2, they are 3 games behind the Braves. 3 games behind the Braves. Yeah. So you could say they played pretty well through 50 games. So we need to see more from Manny, but it was encouraging to see it late in this game today.
It's encouraging to see just everybody in the lineup do something. Jake Cronenworth had a huge hit there.
Huge. 0-2.
Jerkson Profar is the starting left fielder in the All-Star game this year right now. I mean, think about that. That's not a joke. That's 100% going to happen, is that Jerkson Profar I should take that back. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it should happen.
Mm-hmm.
He is the best left fielder in the National League. Full stop. He should be an all-star this year, a starting all-star. And Tatis has shown that he's kind of getting back into it a little bit. We had this discussion last night on the wrap-up show. Tatis's standards are higher than what he's doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still, to me, a disappointment because I'm comparing him to himself and his career numbers. He's still well over 100 points lower for his career OPS.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, this team winning 3 straight in Atlanta, playing really good baseball. Friday night, and you got the rain out Saturday. Then yesterday, Darvish, we even talked about Darvish. And then this morning, coming back from a 5-0 deficit, you have now wiped away the Rockies series. That was a train wreck last week. And you have now put yourself in good position after that very quickly. Because the one thing is, you don't want those series when you get swept to linger. Like, you could have lost the first game against Atlanta, and it was set up to be it was set up for them to lose the first game. You're going against Max Fried. You have Matt Waldron on the mound. Who thought the Padres are going to win that game after getting swept by the Rockies? But they quickly wiped away the stink of that Rockies series and put that in the rearview mirror fairly fast, because sometimes those series can linger and they could take a couple weeks before you get maybe back to where you were before that series. And thankfully, it took 3 days.
And that's where I'm going to back Schulte, where, hey, this guy's not falling the clubhouse. They have now won 5 of 6 series. Yes, the 6th wasn't good. They got swept at home, but they've won 5 of 6 series. Now they're trying to sweep Atlanta on the road. Atlanta, by the way, has lost 4 straight games overall for the first time since 2022. Let's hear from Mike Shildt, who spoke with the media post-game. Let's start with him discussing the keys to his team's big come-from-behind win earlier today.
I know you expect this by now, but all the things that were happening in that game, for that big inning, those quality at-bats to happen, what did you think of the way you guys performed today?
Oh, my gosh. I love this team. I just love this team, man. I love its grit. Like team grit. It's the definition of winners finding solutions. Let's give first credit to the bullpen. Glassby coming in, keeping it right there. They put some good at-bats on Cease. They were able to put some runs up, and but Glassby comes in, gets a donut for 2 innings, leaves some traffic out there, keeps it at 5. Brito does his part, and then here comes the offense. Let's give credit to a lot of the guys there. Even Wadey, the bunt, great idea, get something going. We're down, gets makes a nice play. Albies gets there by eyelash. But it gets him to third. Now ground ball scores him, and doesn't seem like a big deal, but it gets on the board, gets a little momentum. And then, the at-bats later. Kimmy had great at-bats. Pro, as typical, has his good bats. And then Crony, what a sweet stroke. And here comes Manning, doing Manning things, which is really big for us. I think he's been in a good place. Manning's helped us win some games, not only with the bat today, but, he's played some really good defense. He ran the bases really well, too. And I know that's not the sexiest thing people want to talk about, but he scored from second yesterday. He's just done a lot of intangible baseball things that have helped contribute as well. And today he did it with his bat.
Before we get into the pitching, Xander, what's the update?
Well, so far, we're going to get some more imaging, but the initial imaging is negative. So it's positive. He's got stability more than it looked like he might have, and he's got some strength and some range of motion. So, more time will tell, but at least the initial feedback is, initially best case scenario. Shoulder.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you know right away? I mean,
you could just tell by the body language, And by the way, huge play, because that stops the run, and that ended up being a big deal. So he contributed to this ball game, and helped us out for sure.
All right, so Xander, cross your fingers. I honestly, listen, we all want Xander to be healthy. I think they need Xander to play a role in them being a really good team. I think we would all agree if Xander performs like he did in Boston, this could go from whatever they're going to be to a better team. I think everyone agrees with that. With all that being said, he hasn't really yet done it, that if he does miss, let's say it's a game or 3 or 7 or even an IL stint, I don't think it buries you because you haven't gotten the productivity you're hoping to get from him. So it's a little bit of like a a weird spot with someone like Bogaerts. You just want to get him back healthy.
That was a good Schulte presser.
Well, yeah, he said donut.
Like a good amount of Schulteisms in there.
He loves this team. I'm with him.
Oh,
I'm all in.
Love this team. Donuts for the relievers.
Donuts for the relievers.
I would give that Schulte press conference on the positive side a like 7.2 out of 10.
Not higher?
Well, I could go higher, but he didn't use as many Schulteisms.
He said weighty, dude. You don't get weighty every day.
I missed that.
He said weighty when he had
weighty?
the good idea to push a bunt down the first base line.
8.7 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly.
He had that chain where he had Weighty and Manny and Kimmy and Crony all in like 2 sentences.
It's a 9.
Oh my gosh, I love this team.
Yeah, me too.
Just kidding. 9.1 out of 10.
All right, let's hear more from Schulte because Ryan Donovan, San Diego State's golf coach, is going to join us at 3:30. He coaches Xander Schauffele on the Mesa. So let's hear more from Mike Schulte. This was on Jeremiah Estrada. And if he's earning more opportunities, Dylan Cease, Kim's playing the 9th defensively. Let's take a listen.
Regardless of who was coming up for a while, it was Wandy in the 8th, and now today it was Jeremiah.
Mm-hmm.
Did he earn himself more opportunities?
I think he's earned himself more opportunity. I think it was, the lane we liked as well, with the handiness. But yeah, he earned himself more opportunities, and it was a good matchups for him.
Dylan just leaving too many pitches where he doesn't usually?
Yeah, I think so. Just not able to repeat. I mean, stuff was good. The fastball had a life to it. Slider was good. They just they were coming out swinging, and were able to get on him early and ambush him a little bit early in counts, and then he's got behind in some counts.
How's Kim's catch?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Sometimes we overlook it, but always put like a plus defensive play. And I got double plus, could easily got a triple plus. I mean, that was an amazing play, especially the timing of it, leading off the 9th, 1-run ball game. Was that? Yeah, everything. I mean, just as good a play as you're going to see. He's the absolute, magician with that glove. It was a big play.
To follow up on Xander, if follow-up imaging is also negative, do you think he can avoid an IL?
I think it's probably too early to tell. I mean, we'll see how he recovers with the soreness, but if the imaging is negative and he recovers well, it is more of a day-to-day situation. So we'll play it by ear. Also, Crony made another nice play in the 9th as well. Big play. So team win, all phases.
Seems like Crony's having a really good series. I think he has 5 RBIs so far this series. What have you seen from him?
More the same what he's done this year, just taking good at bats, using the big part of the field, not trying to do too much, good approach, good swing the match.
Oh, yeah, that's a good Schulte press conference.
It was very good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know what?
Oh, my gosh. I'm glad you asked.
The one thing I really like about this team right now, we talked about this a little bit on the wrap-up show. Like, whatever the record is against really good teams, it's really good. Like, really good.
14 and I don't know.
What against over 500 teams? Is it 14-9? If it is, that's crazy.
Hold on. I think I saved it.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
No, I didn't save it.
Well, I think let's just say it's 14-9.
Sure. It's really good. It's really good.
Like the best in the National League.
Yes.
Again, I'm not going to go there yet, but if you want to fast forward in your head what it means to have guys like Dylan Cease and Yu Darvish and a team that can win on the road and is good against good teams. I mean, these aren't bad things. Like if it was the opposite, bad on the road, bad against good teams, they don't have starting pitching. You'd be like, oh, there's a problem. But they're the opposite.
If these trends continue, these are the types of trends you want if you are lucky enough to be a playoff team.
Exactly.
You play well against the good teams and you play well on the road. Like those two things right there are qualities that as a baseball team you want to have if you have the aspirations and the goals to make it in the postseason. Because if you make the postseason and you have in your back pocket and the identity of your team is you're a really good road team, and what else did I completely
good road team, good against good teams.
Oh yeah, good against good teams. Sorry, I'm it's wedding week, John.
I know it is. I know as much for me as it is for you.
Yes, good against really good teams and really good team on the road. Those are two things that if those are the identity of your team going forward for the whole season, and you're lucky enough to make the postseason, I feel good about them.
What historical Padres moment will occur over Jim's wedding weekend? Will there be a no-hitter? Will there be a perfect game? Will someone hit 4 home runs in a game? Will there be a benches clearing brawl?
There's going to be something.
Something historical will occur either Friday or Saturday.
Like Friday night, or no, Saturday night. Saturday night, Soto's going to be at the plate, and I don't know who's going to be on the mound. Let me just say, I don't know, some random reliever. I'll say Morahone, okay? And he hits Soto, and then the bench is clear.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
And then all of a sudden, he's like fighting Manny Machado.
Ooh, Soto Machado fight at Petco?
Right.
Friday night.
And then everybody, calms down. And then all of a sudden, the Padres are trailing like 4-3 in the ninth inning. And Tyler Wadey comes to the plate with a runner on. Two-run walk-off home run.
Inside the park.
Oh my
on
gosh.
a misplay from Soto and left.
No, Soto's been ejected.
Oh, yeah,
he got in
good
a
point.
fight. And so is Manny Machado. So Wadey had to go in there.
Got you.
And then Wadey hits a walk-off inside the park, 2-run homer, and they win 5-4.
And you're going to miss it all.
You will
because
too.
you were selfish and got married during Padres Yankees weekend. All right, on the other side, Ryan Donovan. He has done an amazing job with San Diego State's golf program. Coach Xander Schauffele on the Mesa. His reaction to Xander's unbelievable weekend in Valhalla, a major champion. Ryan Donovan, San Diego State's golf coach. He'll join us next. Xander Schauffele, a major champion. Ryan Donovan coached him on the Mesa at San Diego State. He'll join us next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres and Braves, second game of a doubleheader underway in Atlanta. They took game one today, coming back from a 5-0 deficit to win 6-5. Padres have now won 3 in a row, going for the sweep right now in Atlanta. And over the weekend at the PGA Championship, Xander Schauffele won his first career major, having a birdie on 18 at Valhalla to beat Bryce and DeChambeau to win the PGA Championship. And the Timberwolves beat the Nuggets last night in Game 7. They're moving on to the Western Conference Finals. And the Pacers beat the Knicks in Game 7 on the road. They're moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals to face Boston. Timberwolves will be facing the Mavericks. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even on the same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com. What, John?
Nothing. I want to say something off air.
Well, why are you snapping at me?
Because you're going to find it interesting.
This
let's just get to it.
Over
Yeah,
with. You just ruined it.
Just watch this play. You can't do an update even when I'm not giving you a hard time.
I don't care what's happening.
Anyway.
Okay, cool. We got a triple. Awesome.
And that's not what I was going to tell you. All right. Ryan Donovan is San Diego State's men's golf coach. He's been there over 2 decades on the Mesa. He's done an amazing job. One of the best coaches in the country. San Diego State has had all kinds of top national finishes, top 5 back in 2012. And of course, he coached Xander Schauffele on the Mesa. And Xander is a major champion for the first time in his career, winning at Valhalla this Sunday, yesterday. Really an amazing 72 holes, including that full Sunday round for Xander. So, Ryan, we appreciate your time here on San Diego Sports 760. What was this experience like for you? I don't know if you watched the entirety of Sunday or what was this like? I mean, you coached him, and to see him win a PGA championship at a major, what was that like? And thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was awesome. I was hanging out with my 11-year-old daughter, and she wanted to go to the park, and I was like, we're watching golf. Great to see that final putt go in on the left side of that hole. And just very excited for him. He's just a cool dude. So very, very happy for him.
And for him to win his first major, this kind of feels like a monkey off the back moment. Do you feel like Xander's like just getting started here? Because winning your first major, this could open up a whole bunch of doors here for Xander going forward with endorsements, and obviously going forward, just the way he plays now, because he's not having that, so to speak, monkey on his back.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his year and his past years, I mean, he's been in contention multiple times. And yes, I think the monkey's off the back, and I feel like he's going to win multiple championships moving forward. So I'm excited for him, and he just has a game and a demeanor and the mindset that you have to have out there, and he's kind of cutthroat and blue collar, and I think that's why everybody loves him.
Ryan Donovan with us right now, San Diego State's men's golf coach. So take us back, Coach, to his time on the Mesa at San Diego State. And obviously his growth has been exponential, like any player would have, going from collegiate golf to professional golf. But what type of player did you have at San Diego State, and when did you realize what his upside might look like professionally?
Yeah, well, two quick stories. First off, I offered him 50% in high school, and I thought he was a pretty average player. And he went to Long Beach State his first year on a full ride, and he called me and said, yeah, I need the money. And I was like, oh, okay. And luckily he transferred his sophomore year. The coach went to work for TaylorMade. And so we had him for 3 years. But during his time with us, he was just a leader. I mean, he didn't talk about anything bad. He always told me what was going on with the team and what we needed to change and things of that nature. In his last year, he took all night classes so he could practice in the morning and then be with us in the afternoon. So he just had the work ethic, and I knew he'd be on tour at some stage.
When you look at Xander going forward here, do you keep in contact with him, or have you talked to him recently? And if you have, what are some things that you may have talked to him about for his game, or is it kind of one of those things where Xander, let him do his thing and let him go on this run here with how well he's playing?
Yeah, we text. He hasn't texted me back yet because he knows I'm probably asking for money because I'm trying to build a facility right now. But I did talk to his dad, who's in Hawaii. I did talk to his caddy, who played for us as well, Austin Kaiser. And but we keep in touch. He came back a couple years ago when he won the gold medal and did a big fundraising event for us, and we raised a bunch of money with the gold medal. And he's just he's just a good dude. So all the respect to him. I know it's his job, so I try not to bother him too much. But if I need to reach out and say hi, yeah, he definitely responds.
San Diego State's men's golf coach Ryan Donovan with us right now. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. So what is the impact for your program when one of your players has this type of success at this high of a level? Like you said, he's got a gold medal. Now he's got a major. Is there a residual impact on your program?
I mean, obviously it helps with the recruiting. We're in San Diego, and I tell people all the time, if I can't recruit here, then I might as well go sell coffee somewhere. But, we got a great program, great history. And yeah, it'll help with recruiting, knowing that like you can play and practice here, and we might not have the first class facilities like some programs, but we're blue collar. We roll up our sleeves, and we have a hard schedule, and that's kind of who we are as the nature of our program. So it's I'm excited for him.
What's the impact? I think we've talked to you about this previously, maybe a year or two ago, but obviously Omni LaCosta is now hosting the NCAA Golf Championships. Not just this year, but at least the next couple of years and potentially beyond that as well. What is the impact of that decision and that news potentially on your program as well?
Yeah, again, I think it's going to showcase so well on the TV this week with the women playing there right now. The scores kind of were all over the map, with new greens, firm and fast, a new great design. So I think it's great to have in our backyard. We're not the host school, but knowing that that's here in San Diego, and it's definitely an honor and a privilege, and hopefully we're there next year.
What'd you make of that putt on 18? I mean, that thing caught all of the cup. It looked, it was what the angle of the putt. It just felt like it took forever to get in the hole. What was your initial reaction on that putt?
I think he closed his eyes. I mean, I just think I think he blanked out and didn't even know it went in. But we do a team putt, and I told my players today after seeing that, I said, this is why we do this team putt from 5 to 6 feet every night, every tournament that we go to. we do a pressure putt where we're all standing around, and I felt like he was in that moment, and just committed to it. And hats off to his great golf putting coach, Derek Ueda, out at the Grand and the Farms. But they went through a lot of hard work and hard times to get to that point. So congrats.
Ryan, can you explain to our listeners how challenging of a second shot on 18 Xander had, where the ball was so close to a bunker that he had to position himself in the bunker well below the ball. He had to keep his footing and somehow finagle that shot. I mean, how challenging of a golf shot is that? And how much more challenging is it when you consider the circumstances?
It's funny you say that, because in college, he's had some situations where he was in trees and woods and crazy situations. And I'm like, how did you get your little body into that position? He was so athletic, and it was like a little kid, getting down on his feet. And I felt like that was the same situation. He was just so creative with his imagination, his creativity, that he was able to get in that shot. I was like, yeah, I saw him in the trees doing this. So it didn't surprise me. But for the people watching at home, that was a harder shot than it looked, for sure.
I mean, it didn't look easy, I'll be honest with you. Ryan, one more before you go, because you talked about, maybe he's obviously impactful for your program. You joked about, he probably thinks I'm asking him for money. What is we always talk about with football and men's basketball, we know about the portal. We know about name, image, and likeness. We know it's having a massive impact on the collegiate space. Is it impacting your program as well? What role does NIL and portal play in men's golf?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be huge. Obviously, it's not men's basketball and football and
sure,
baseball and softball, but it's coming for sure. I mean, I just saw a kid from ASU that transferred to Texas, and the portal opened at 8:00, and at 8:02 he had a Texas flag in his Instagram. So it's happening, and that's a financial situation. Luckily, there's 500 kids in the portal right now. We didn't have any of our guys enter that. Like I said, we're true to our program and what we do here, and believe in that. So I'm fortunate in that situation, but I have to also realize that that's a new era, and I have to adjust to my recruiting skills.
Like you said, hard to envision many better spots in America than playing golf at San Diego State University here in America's finest city. Ryan, we appreciate your time again. We've enjoyed watching, obviously, all your successes, and we look forward to watching into the future as well. And congratulations on a former player, Xander Schauffele, winning his first major as well. So thanks for hopping on.
All right, cheers, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, San Diego State's men's golf coach, Ryan Donovan, again, talking about Xander's incredible week at Valhalla. It was incredible. And Sunday was just pure theater all day long.
Yeah, it was, low score after low score. Even a bad round by Colin Morikawa was still finished at 15 under for the tournament. Bryson DeChambeau made a run. And then, you get to that putt on 18. Like I said, it just, man, it hit every inch of that cup. I mean, the lip, it just went. It was one of those putts where if you are standing over it and you're watching it and you see it immediately hit that lip, your first thought is, oh my God, that's going to lip out. And it didn't. And it curled right in. And he wins this first major in his career.
Rest is history. All right. On the other side, is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend. Bryce Miller will join us at 4 p.m. with more on Xander's incredible week in Kentucky. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, Bryce Miller, great columnist for the UT, will join us at 4 p.m. Is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend? That's next. $1,000 every day this week. Listen for the keyword and enter it at sportssc.com. Bryce Miller on Xander's week in Louisville. He'll join us coming up at 4 p.m. Alan Sliwa will get us ready for NBA Conference Finals. He'll join us coming up at 5:30 today. But right now, let's get to this.
All right, we'll start with apparently the new face of the NBA, according to ESPN, which is Anthony Edwards. Did you see this, John?
I did. Maybe.
I just
From
roll
Stephen
my
A?
eyes. Just roll my eyes. It's like, guys, come on, stop. But anyway, Timberwolves, they beat the Nuggets last night in Game 7 on the road. They trailed by 20 points.
Third quarter.
In the third quarter. They're down 58-38. They kind of won going away. They won 98-90. Yep. Brent, is that good? For the Timberwolves, it's good because it's their second conference finals in their franchise history.
I thought that's what we were talking about.
We are.
Yeah, that's very good. All right, how about this? Xander Schauffele. I don't know if we've mentioned this as of yet.
Huh?
He posted the lowest score ever to win a major championship at 21 under par. Is that good? It's very good.
Where the dude that got arrested finish?
Top 10? Around top 10, right?
The
He
guy
played well
that-
yesterday.
The guy that got
Scotty
arrested.
Scheffler, the world's best golfer. He was good. He was not good Saturday.
No,
he was really good
which
Friday
is
and Sunday.
Understandable because,
Of what happened. Plus, his caddy missed Saturday.
dude, he was going through a lot.
Did he get arrested too?
No, he had his graduation or someone's graduation,
Daughter's
kid's graduation, but he was
yeah.
back Sunday.
I don't know where he finished. I can't.
Let's just
find
say
my
top
phone.
10.
He's still the number one golfer in the world.
Yep.
Jurickson Profar, John, is the Padres' best player by a wide margin here. He is hitting, get this, 339 on the year. He continues to rake. He continues to be the best player on this team offensively.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting 339. It's not a small sample size. Is that good, Brent?
Yeah, I mean, he's been unbelievable. Like you said, he should be starting for the National League in the All-Star game.
So Friday night in Atlanta, 2 for 5. Last night, he went 3 for 4. He had another hit this morning, I believe. And
yeah, he did 1 for 3.
He already has another hit in today's game off of Chris Sale. He's incredible.
He's been really good.
It's amazing what they've gotten production wise out of a guy that's making $1 million.
AJ Preller knew it.
Masterclass.
The Pacers yesterday in their Game 7 win over the Knicks at the Garden shot 67.1% as a team, the highest shooting percentage in the history of the NBA in the postseason. Is that good?
Way to play no defense in the biggest game of the year, Knicks. Come on.
Jalen Brunson broke his hand. Knicks trailed by 20 basically the entire game, and the Pacers move on. What else you have?
So Scotty Scheffler, that guy that got arrested,
he finished the 8th.
Okay. Well,
that is top 10.
Yep.
So his arraignment on multiple charges stemming from his arrest on, are you okay there?
Yeah, I am.
On Saturday has been delayed till June 3rd. His attorney says that it looks like these charges will eventually go away and everything will be okay. So, Brent, is that good?
It's good for Scheffler.
Very good for Scheffler, because that would be a silly thing to, truly get a felony for and to have those charges actually stand in the court. After
imagine if he did, imagine if he had to spend 2 years in jail.
Guys, this was a misunderstanding. The cop freaked out.
They're going to let him out on the weekends for work release to go golf.
Thursday through Sunday.
But good that this looks like it's going to go away, and it should, because it was a misunderstanding.
It should, because he's rich and he's powerful. It should go away.
That's usually enough.
Do we even know what happened?
Yes.
We do? Is there evidence?
According to the report, Scotty Scheffler went around the barricade to try to get into the golf course.
But
and
the officer
freaked out, grabbed on the car. Scotty didn't realize it. He drove for another 10 yards, dragging the officer. They got him out of his car and they arrested him.
So we know that the officer was in the wrong?
I don't think we know for sure, but here's the thing. It's pretty easy to guess that this whole thing was a misunderstanding.
Yeah, this guy's the world's #1 golfer. There's no way he's responsible.
Stop. You think this guy?
No, I have no idea. But I think that if there's evidence,
there's an evidence of a cop overreacting here.
Probably.
Scotty Scheffler, Mad Max. What's the difference?
Exactly.
All right, Darvish became just the third Japanese-born pitcher to reach 200 combined wins across the Nippon Professional Baseball League and the Major Leagues. 7 shutout innings Sunday. 200 career wins. Is that good? It is good. Guy's pitching the best baseball of his career right now. 25 consecutive scoreless innings. That is unbelievable for a 37-year-old.
It's just him, Nomo, and who is the other one?
Kuroda. Hiroki Kuroda. 203 career wins. Hiroki Kuroda. All right, Bryce Miller will join us on the other side. To kick off hour 2 of Jon and Jim. Alan Sleewell will join us coming up at 5:30 as well. Hour 2, Jon and Jim. We're with you until 6 p.m. Stay with us.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres have now won 3 games in a row after their win this morning versus the Braves. In comeback fashion, from down 5-0, they won 6-5. Game 2 of the doubleheader happening right now. Padres and Braves. Braves beat the Padres 1-0 top of the 3rd inning there. Padres looking for the 4-game sweep before they head to Cincinnati. Over the weekend, Xander Schauffele, we talked about it, won his first career major championship, posting a 21 under par, winning the PGA Championship, his first major in his career. An NBA action, Timberwolves and Pacers both won Game 7s on the road. They're moving on to the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even on the same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. You just heard Jim Nance's call. Xander, a major champion for the first time in his career. Bryce Miller writing on it this afternoon in the Union Tribune. And back with us on Jon and Jim, the title, Bryce Miller, San Diego's Xander Schauffele reshapes legacy with major step at PGA Championship. So, Bryce, appreciate it as always. I know you followed Xander's career. In golf, you just got to have him. To be considered one of the greats, you just have to grab at least one of these things. Like you said, it's legacy defining. Put it into words for our listeners. What is the impact here of Xander winning at Valhalla? And thank you.
Yeah, it's absolutely legacy defining. I mean, that's the door not many golfers get a walk through to be a major champion. He's already got a piece of a legacy that's even a harder one to get. He's an Olympic gold medalist because there's so few opportunities to do that, and golf is relatively new to the Olympics anyway. But it's getting over the hump. If you just look at this thing under a microscope and think about one weekend in this particular golf tournament, you got 156 players. You've got the top 100 in the world. Every single player until one had to withdraw during tournament week. So basically you had the top 100 in the world, 156 people. And after 4 days and 72 holes, you've got to be one of one at the end. And I think one of the things that made it a couple of things that made it incredibly impressive to watch for me was one, just he didn't get hot and cruise in with that slow, easy walk up 18. He had to earn it on 17 and 18. He had his ball in the sand trap, the fairway sand trap on 17, and he had to play through that to save par. His feet were in the sand, his ball was up on basically the second cut lip of another sand trap, and turned that into a birdie. So, it's one of those things is he had to earn it. But two, that it just, the moment wasn't too big for him. And I think that's part of the legacy too. You wonder, he's been second at the Masters. He's been second at the British Open. He's been third at the US Open. At some point, you start to wonder, is this an incredibly talented elite golfer? But that moment at the end is just a little too big for him. Sunday is just a little too big for him. So he gets to wipe that off the board too. So in a couple of ways, it was a chance to prove that all those close calls meant something. They all said he was right there, and now he's busted through. And the way that he did it, and Bryce and DeChambeau shooting 20 under and not winning at a major, it was pretty incredible.
And I mean, that putt on 18 wasn't like a right in the center of the cup putt. That was a little dicey there. It caught every part of that cup to go in, and he did, ends up pulling that off. But I saw something on social media the other day, Bryce, and I thought it was kind of funny. It's like, oh, this is San Diego's first major championship. I mean, in a way, it is kind of funny, but also it's also, hey, this guy, San Diego State's own, and he was even mentioned on the broadcast by Jim Nantz, San Diego State, like winning a major championship here. What does this do for the city and for him, like being like the San Diego State guy on the tour, winning that major championship yesterday?
Yeah, there's a few San Diego State guys on tour, as we know. Well, one of them has, moved off tour to live. But basically, San Diego gets to put its chest out a little bit, not just because somebody who went to San Diego State won a major. It's just there's this sense that he does everything the right way. You don't hear about a scandal. You don't hear about him having gambling issues. You don't hear about him getting in trouble with a mistress. You don't hear about him wrecking cars. Not that this happens to everybody in those positions, but you wonder that moment when one of your own is in a really unique spot. Is something going to deflate? Is something going to distract? Is something going to tarnish a legacy, even if it's a winning one? But I think part of the satisfaction in San Diego, he just seems like a great guy who works hard and does it the right way. And a lot of that's a cliche of sorts. But, that's kind of how you want your champions, the people who represent where you are. That's how you hope they get it done. And he's absolutely done that part without a doubt.
Bryce Miller with us right now, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Like when you write about legacy with a golfer, does it become secure, quote unquote, with one? Like, of course, you can always do more. I mean, obviously, the top of the sport has, a dozen plus major championships. But I think he's got an Olympic gold medal. That's a rarity unto itself. The Olympics hasn't had golf in it very often. Now he's got a major. He's only 30. He could certainly grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. We have no idea at this point. Right. What else does he have to prove, I guess, either to golf fans or to himself or San Diego moving forward?
I think with a major, an Olympic gold medal, 7 other tour wins, I don't think he has to prove anything. But if there's another step to take, even if it's a smaller rung, getting one more major, getting 2, proving that one was not a fluke, which this one absolutely wasn't. His first round was record-setting at Valhalla. His total tournament score was record-setting for a major. But there's something that if somebody can do that twice, now you're talking about somebody who showed you more than once, who's survived the stress and the pressure and the grind that is very unique to majors. So that next step would be one more. And, he's 30 years old. There's no reason to think he couldn't win multiple championships moving forward. I mean, just look, the weekend before, he didn't really lose that tournament at the Wells Fargo Championship. He was near the top or in the lead for a lot of that tournament. Rory McIlroy just went out and won it. It wasn't like Schauffele lost it. It's McIlroy won it. He's been second in another tournament this year. So he's constantly knocking on the door. He's had 14 runner-up finishes, 2 in majors. But this kind of takes the stress off of him, and it allows him to maybe walk in there with a different kind of experience, a different kind of confidence if he's got a shot at it.
Bryce, going to the Padres here, how do you explain this team? It's just
you can't.
You can't.
It's impossible. I was just having that conversation with somebody today. You beat the Dodgers. You beat a very good Cubs team. You get swept by the Rockies, who go on and get destroyed by the Giants. And then somehow you go in to face one of the best teams in the best division, arguably in baseball, the Braves, and you win the first 3. You do it with, a pretty improbable pitching matchup that you overcame in game 1. You do it being down 5-0 in the early game today. You can't explain it. They win on the road. They don't win at home. That doesn't make sense. They play competitively with talented teams, top teams, over 500 teams. They struggle. We saw that how many times last year? Then they struggle against the Rockies or, whoever it is. They're just, it's like they have this split personality that even they can't figure out. But yeah, they run. So every day you think you've got an inkling that you have figured out what's going to happen that day with them. You absolutely don't, because that's not who they are and that's not how they play. And it really makes them interesting, but it also has positioned them to be, it's kind of like reality TV. It's hard to turn away from this team in a lot of good ways, but some bad ways. But they're fascinating. There's no doubt about it.
I was going to say before you go, Bryce, I mean, if the business of sports is entertainment, and sometimes I push back on that because me personally as a sports fan, I'm in it for the results, win, loss. But considering, like Jim has said this so many times, AJ's never had a 90-win team, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they haven't had a 90-win team. Now they had a National League Championship Series team. It was great. But considering they haven't had that elite all-season team to be as entertaining / relevant as they are across the sport is a pretty incredible accomplishment, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when the backdrop of that is you don't have Juan Soto anymore, and everybody sees what Juan Soto's doing in New York. You don't have Seth Lugo, and people see what he's doing with the Royals. There have been so much churn. Nick Martinez, Waka, who hasn't had as much of a run with the Royals, but you lost somebody who was a really solid part of your rotation last year. You kind of go on and on. The season started with this team can't survive with Jurickson Profar being an everyday left fielder, and who's going to play center field, and what's the rotation look like? And they can't win without another left-handed bat. And slowly, all of this has evolved over time, and that's what all of that has made this really interesting to watch.
We were right. Yeah, he can't win with Profar. All right, he's only hitting 340 right now. Bryce,
no chance.
Great writing. Enjoy the column again. It's in the UT right now on Xander's legacy-defining win at Valhalla in Louisville, his first major championship with the lowest score ever in a major at 21 under par. Bryce, we always appreciate your time and your insight and your writing, and thanks for doing it.
All right, guys, you got it.
All right, Bryce Miller, columnist for the UT. Alan Sliwa, by the way, will join us at 5:30.
Yes. Alan Sliwa and me both predicting that the Timberwolves are the team.
Now, did you predict it when he predicted it? Seriously? No.
I think after the Timberwolves took the first two games on the road versus the Nuggets, I was like, yeah, I'll side with Sliwa.
Well, yeah, at that point it looked really good, but then they were down 3-2.
I know. And then you thought to yourself,
they're done.
They're done.
Right.
And then the Nuggets get blown out in game 6. And then they have an epic collapse in game 7.
Mm-hmm.
They're a fun team. They're a fun team to watch. They have the best defense in the NBA. They have one of the brightest superstars in the NBA right now. Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, you can say what you want about him, but he is an all-star, and he is a really good player. And you might not like Rudy Gobert, and he might not have deserved all 4 of his Defensive Player of the Year awards, but he had a huge game 7 for them last night to help them have a 20-point comeback to win. And I mean, it's just, it was good to see some new fresh blood in there.
I wonder if the NBA is thinking the same thing or not. I mean, all we heard yesterday during Knicks Pacers is about the Knicks, even though the Pacers led by 25 the entire game and shot an NBA playoff record 67.1% from the floor. If you're the NBA, it's such a ratings business. It's a stars business. It's a marketing play. Yeah, we've seen smaller markets win before. Milwaukee is a recent example. But is the NBA shaking in its boots at the idea? It's unlikely, but the idea of Indiana against Minnesota in the NBA Finals. Again, I'd call it unlikely because I think Indiana is a pretty significant underdog. I think Minnesota absolutely can get there through Dallas. But is that a shaking in your boots type thing? Or does that allow a player like Anthony Edwards, a franchise like Minnesota, to emerge? Is that what they want? Is that good for the league? Do they want these teams to emerge, or would they rather just Boston be Boston, Dallas beat Dallas. I don't know.
I think to a certain degree, they want some of these teams to emerge just because, let's be honest, LeBron's getting up there and, a lot of that generation are, getting up to retirement age to where it's time to start pushing the new, I know Jim kind of joked about, but pushing the new faces of the NBA and just getting them out there. So I don't think it'd be the worst thing if Minnesota won the title because, like I said, they're trying to promote Ant-Man as the new face of, the NBA, but somebody's got to do it, I guess.
Because with LeBron and Steph, like they're kind of and KD, like just kind of fading towards the back now. They might have one run left in them I don't know, probably not. But with those guys kind of fading away, you're going to need those new teams and superstars to emerge here. And I think Anthony Edwards kind of has all the makings of being that guy. I'm not going to say he's the face of the league yet. I'm not going to say that he's like the greatest thing since Michael Jordan, which is apparently what everyone's saying right now. But he's a type of player that I think can attract fans because of how he plays. He has that style of play that appeals to the NBA fan. Jokic, on the other hand, I don't think it appeals to every NBA fan. I think Anthony Edwards, it does because of how he plays. He's above the rim. He can go on tears. He is a guy that talks trash. He's a great quote. Like everything about his game and everything that he does, I think is attractive to the NBA fan.
It's funny. You would think some of this stuff, and then I'm watching this Knicks Pacers game 7 because Kristen is this like lifelong Pacers fan. She grew up in Indiana. Spent some of her childhood in Indiana. And I'm watching this game 7. You would not know that the Pacers were on the cusp of the best shooting day in NBA playoff history of this marquee road win. The whole thing centered around the Knicks, as if the league was centered around the Knicks, as if ESPN properties needed the Knicks. It was very bizarre to watch how it played out. Listen, Mike Breen, the final 5 minutes of the game. Oh, what's going to happen next year? Will Jalen Brunson come back healthy? Will the team? Who cares?
Tyrese Halliburton.
Who cares?
Had one of the greatest game 7s on the road in history of the franchise.
This team in general played unbelievable basketball, and the whole thing was about Stephen A. Smith's fandom. I know. So it just feeds into the narrative that what matters is Boston, New York, Golden State, LeBron, KD, and what doesn't matter as much is just good team basketball and impressive, a postseason for Indiana. They have won as a dog in 2 consecutive series to get to the conference final. Maybe it's not sexy, but you can't talk about it because it's not sexy.
Dan Patrick eviscerated ESPN this morning for exactly what you're talking about.
It just seems I don't honestly get it. So New York's a big city, and because Knicks fans are starved, and I understand that, but that's the only story. It's a story, but it's like when we watch Padres Dodgers on Sunday Night Baseball, and everyone says the same things. Hey, the Padres are playing too. Yeah. Like the whole broadcast is centered around the LA Dodgers. It just doesn't seem
like I
fair.
guarantee you at least one time in the next week, there will be a LeBron James topic.
Of course.
On one of the pregame shows or a postgame show.
He'll show up at one of the games again.
Or a first take. They'll be like, can LeBron do what Anthony Edwards is doing or something along those lines? Some stupid conversation instead of promoting Tyrese Halliburton and promoting Anthony Edwards and the Mavericks. And I mean, the Celtics don't need any promotion because they've been there a lot recently. But like, you get my point. Is you are basically telling your fans of the NBA, hey, don't watch these games because the teams that we really want to be in there that we talk about all the time aren't in there. So don't watch us. Don't watch these games. And it's like,
I think they're heading down that path. I don't think it'll be in Indiana against Minnesota, but if it was, would people watch? Would it be the lowest rated finals of all time? Indiana against Minnesota. My guess would be yes.
I guess it'd be close.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be like this. I don't see it. What's the lowest NBA finals rated? It's like the
last 2 years or something.
Spurs and
it's the bubble.
It's the 2020 finals.
But that doesn't count.
Yeah. I would say it's the Spurs and the Detroit Pistons as well, or maybe the Nets and the Pistons.
Bucks recently, maybe
Bucks Suns. That was maybe.
Point is, it wouldn't be some ratings breakthrough. I promise you that.
No,
It wouldn't be some Warriors, Celtics, Lakers, Celtics.
But here's the thing: if you're a basketball fan and you're a fan of the NBA, if the Timberwolves made it with the Pacers, you have. I mean, the players in this game are really good. Tyrese Halliburton, okay, Pascal Siakam. You have Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, those are 4 all-stars right there.
Sure.
Now, they're not the most recognizable names for NBA fans in the world. But if ESPN did their jobs to hype up these players instead of continuously talking about who's not there, then maybe, just maybe, you would get people watching more.
What do you got, Brent?
Yeah, Bucks Suns in 2021, they averaged about a 5 million for each game.
Wow.
So game 6 was the highest rated. They got a 6.6.
Again, what is it? I'm not saying it's not the end all
About
be
12
all. I
million
mean,
viewers.
what do we care? I don't really care what the ratings are. I guess the question is more like, will it resonate? You think about NBA finals and you think about like stars and you think about big brands historically. Like, are people that aren't basketball fans? That's the bigger question, because you're asking, when you get to the finals, are people that aren't basketball fans going to tune in? Of course, the basketball fans are there. What about the people that aren't?
I think it depends on how the games play out. You know, you could have LeBron and, versus the Knicks or whatever like they want, but if, the teams win by 20 points each game, who gives a crap, you know?
But
if the Timberwolves, we'll just say the Pacers because we've been talking about it. If the Timberwolves would end up playing the Pacers, but they play like 7 games and every game goes down to the wire, then people are going to watch as long as it's good basketball. Because I think people will watch good basketball over, oh, look, there's LeBron and they won by 25.
Well, I get what you're saying, but I also think if the Lakers face the Knicks in the finals, regardless of how the outcomes of those games, they'd be the highest rated games probably in the history of the NBA finals. Or not the history.
First time in a while.
It would be a very highly rated series. I won't say the most of all time because those are high numbers.
New Yorkers are starving, obviously, for the Knicks. The Knicks have not been in the finals in 30 years.
Yeah.
And New York is the largest media market in the country. However, sometimes I do feel as if networks put blinders on because a lot of the media is centered in 1 or 2 markets. So like, you have media personalities based out of New York City. Therefore, you think the world revolves around New York City. It's this massive market, and it is. It's the number 1 media market, arguably in the world, but certainly in the country. But just because the Knicks happen to reside in the largest media market in the country doesn't mean that if it doesn't work out for you and it doesn't involve the Knicks, then all hope is lost if you're a network, I guess, is my point. The Knicks have not been in an NBA Finals in 30 years.
So there's no point.
That's the thing. And they still had...
You're crying over spilled milk. Like imagine the ratings. Well, they've never been there, at least for the last 30 years.
Exactly. And the ratings have still been good.
Yeah, they've been good because you've promoted the players, and the players, kind of rule the day here. But the matchup I think everyone wants to see is the Mavericks and Celtics, right?
Again, I don't know how overly appealing any of the matchups are going to be. I mean, I think so. Luka,
Kyrie, Tatum.
Yeah, I think so. That's a pretty good matchup.
Yeah,
that would be a pretty good matchup.
It'd be pretty good.
But Minnesota, to your point, Anthony Edwards, maybe that's when he bursts onto the national scene. Again, they didn't even play. They played like 4 or 5 nationally televised games this year. 4 or 5, Minnesota, all year. And other teams had 40. So people haven't really seen Anthony Edwards until this postseason. On the other side, we'll get to the wrap. Alan Sliwa with much more on the conference finals. He will join us at 5:30. We have tickets to give away. Brothers Osborne. We'll give those away coming up at 4:45 during Trainwreck Radio. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, so imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free, no credit cards, no car loan, no personal loan. Hey, guys, it's Schaefer. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly with Loan Pronto's AI-based system. You can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home, and you can use that money to pay off all your other loans. In fact, the average homeowner saving over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value, it's way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards, get some money maybe for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now. Here's the number: 619-207-4336, 619-207-4336, or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
All right, this update's brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres Braves, game 2 of their doubleheader. Padres looking for the 4-game sweep against the Braves. Right now, the Braves lead the Padres 2-0, bottom of the 4th inning there. We just talked about it. The NBA Western and Eastern Conference Finals are set. Pacers beat the Knicks in game 7 yesterday. It will be the Celtics versus the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Mavericks beat the defending champion Nuggets last night in game 7. They'll take on the Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals. And Xander Schauffele winning his first career major, winning the PGA Championship yesterday at Valhalla. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even on the same day. Now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert.
All right, Red Shoe Day coming up this Wednesday, benefiting Ronald McDonald House Charities San Diego. Proceeds stay in San Diego, directly supporting our families. Funds raised during Red Shoe Day support lodging, meals, emotional support, and family day services provided by the house at no cost to families. Our iHeart team for Red Shoe Day will be collecting donations at the intersection of Balboa Avenue and Ruffin Road this Wednesday from 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. All right, we do have some tickets to give away, Jim, in about 15 minutes. We'll let you know when to call. A pair of tickets to see Brothers Osborne, Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater, May 29th. Is that this weekend? Yeah, it is. You want to do that this week? Is that this weekend? Just over a week. No. 9 days.
No, yeah, because it's the 25th on Saturday, John. Then the 26th
okay, you know that?
after. Yeah, and then 27th. So
all right, well, whatever.
Next Wednesday.
In a week, a chance to see the Brothers Osborne. We'll let you know when to call and how to win those tickets for May 29th, Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater. Right now, let's get to this.
Will Xander Schauffele win another major in his career?
I think right now the odds are pretty good, yes, because once the monkey gets off your back, it feels like you're like, I have that in the back of my head that I made that putt. I finished that round. I, got over the hump. Until yesterday, it felt like it was one of those things where, is Xander going to get over the hump here? Is Xander going to win a major? And over a course of over time, like that gets into your head a little bit. You can't help but think it doesn't. So I would say, yes, he does.
Yeah, I mean, I think at 30 years of age, do the math on it. I think you got a really good shot to be in your prime through at least age 40 as a golfer. In your prime, you can win it even beyond age 40. So give him like another 40 major appearances. Yeah, I think he's got a really good shot to win another. So, yeah, I hope that this is like the beginning of a run here for Xander where you see him stack up 2 or 3. Here's the thing. There's only been 30 golfers ever with 3 or more. And there's been like 80 golfers with 2 or more. So you can get in really, rarefied air with another major championship if you're Xander Schauffele. Next question.
How big of a loss would it be for the Padres if Xander Bogaerts is put on the IL?
I think it's a loss just because, then who you're putting in his place? You're putting Donovan Solano. You're putting Tyler Wade. I know Xander's not played well this year, and I know that it's not looked good a lot of the time, but he has gotten hot as of late. I think you tweeted out 920 OPS in his last 7 games.
903 in his last 6.
And he looks better. It's a 900 something.
Yeah.
And I just think an extended period of time you lose him for, it's going to hurt the team. But you can make the argument that like it wasn't really helping this team much anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it would be. I hate to say this. I think if it's a short IL stint, I don't think it would be overly significant. I do agree. He absolutely has value, even if he's not hitting. You don't want to lose him, clearly, for a long period of time. I think you could overcome it, obviously, if you missed him for 10 days. I think if you miss him for months on end, like Trevor Story had a shoulder injury, he's out for the year. If you missed him for months on end,
that's out for the year with the shoulder injury.
Yeah, that's significant, even though he's done absolutely nothing this year at the plate. So I think they could overcome it if it's a short IL stint, but hopefully if it is an IL stint, it's just a short one. Next question.
What will Joe Musgrove's line be in his return tomorrow from the IL?
I am gonna go Cincinnati. I'll go 5 innings, 1 run, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk.
Wow. It's pretty good. I'll go 9 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, and 9 strikeouts.
No strikeouts would be even more impressive.
Yes. Put the ball, let them. I mean,
So that's a perfect game, John.
So, okay. So you're trusting of Joe Musgrove in his return. Yeah. I'll go 5 innings. I'll say more than a run. I'll say 5 innings, 3 runs.
Okay.
2 walks, 4 strikeouts. I mean, Cincinnati's a really good hitting yard. Cincinnati, in terms of the Reds, they've not been good. But yeah, I hope we see him have some success. We haven't seen him in about 3 weeks now, but I hope we see him have some success. I would take 5 innings, 5+ innings.
Yes, Sean. We
Keep
would
it
all
a
take,
game.
We all take 5 innings.
Would you?
I would. Yeah.
Would you take more?
Let me think about that real quick. Next
Nope.
question. Next question.
I would take more
No,
than 5.
I wouldn't take more than the 5.
I would
innings.
take more than 5.
No.
Next question.
Who's the best remaining player in the NBA playoffs?
Jason Tate. Oh, no. I want to say Luka, but at the same time, Luka
They both play for Dallas.
and Kyrie.
Yeah.
What about Anthony Edwards?
What about Jason Tatum?
I think they're both better than Tatum.
What about Tyrese Halliburton? What about TJ McConnell?
Ooh, that's a good one. How about Jalen McDaniels?
He's not in the playoffs.
Sorry, Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah. See?
Yeah. So who are you saying? You just
I'll say Luka.
I'm going to say Anthony Edwards,
Okay.
who's gotten all the acclaim. Alan Slee was going to tell us that the T-Wolves are going to win the NBA Finals when he joins us at 5:30. Maybe he's not the best player remaining, but maybe he's the biggest star or has like the most star power or the most electrifying moments potentially that's remaining. But yeah, I'll say Anthony Edwards. The thing is, you're missing again that like you're missing that marquee, been there, done that star. Luka's like 26, Tatum's in his 20s, Anthony Edwards is in his early 20s. You're missing that like marquee 30-something, been there, done that, 3 rings star, which is fine. That could be a good thing for the NBA. Someone's going to emerge out of these teams. Someone's going to emerge and get rings out of it and change the story heading into next year.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know,
either Jason Tatum and the Celtics will get over that hump finally.
Yep.
Tyrese Halliburton will be the team that, comes out of nowhere to win a title. Luka, you could say now has cemented his place as one of the premier players in the game because, yes, he is a great statistical guy that puts up a bunch of points, triple doubles, but he hasn't been able to get over that hump.
Right.
And some people say that he's just the guy that scores a bunch of points, can't play defense, blah, 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 right? Lead a team to a championship.
Right.
And then Kyrie, you don't need to say anything about Kyrie. He's done it, hit the shot. He's everything's fine with him. And then the Timberwolves it's like, okay, they have now cemented their place, at least for the foreseeable future. Like we are now the new dogs and the top dogs here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I mean, remember Memphis am I wrong in saying this? Like Memphis kind of climbed the Western Conference. I mean, Ja had all the stuff off the court, and then we kind of never heard from Memphis again. Is that Minnesota? I wouldn't think so. It feels like Minnesota is more real than Memphis was under Ja previously. We'll see if that plays out or not, I guess. Who's the odds-on favorite here? Is it Boston to win it all? Is it Dallas?
Yeah.
Who's the odds-on favorite? Boston?
Yeah. They're the team that if they don't win it this year, that will be viewed as a massive disappointment because everything has set up for them pretty perfect.
Yeah, they're minus 165, so they are a favorite. Minnesota's plus 290. Dallas is plus 500. Indiana's plus 2,500, 25-1. So the Mavs are 5-1. Pacers are 25-1. T-Wolves are 3-1. And the Celtics are almost 1-2 to win. So they're a pretty heavy favorite to win the finals.
You're facing a Pacers team that, they're a 7 seed? 6 seed. And then you would face, Timberwolves did a really good year, 56 wins.
Yep.
But you're not facing a juggernaut team that's been there before.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Celtics don't win, that would be a disappointment.
You think people in Boston would be disappointed if they don't win?
I think so.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Here's the number to call if you want 2 free tickets to see the Brothers Osborne at the Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater, May 29th. 877-767-4760. Great giveaway for next week. We have 2 free tickets. First 2 callers will be our contestants. Again, the number to call is 877-767-4760. 2 free tickets to see the Brothers Osborne at the Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater next week, May 29. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Again, 877-767-4760. We have 2 free tickets. Call right now. That's next. All right, we have free tickets right now. You need to call 877-767-4760 for your chance to win 2 free tickets to see the Brothers Osborne, Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater next week, May 29th. 877-767-4760 to play Trainwreck Radio. That's trivia. If you want those 2 free tickets to see the Brothers Osborne, you need to call right now. 877-767-4760. Call now. That's next. Fleetwood will join us coming up at 5:30. We'll talk about the conference finals. Jon and Jim with you until 6 p.m. We are approaching wedding day. You need to turn your mic on.
I'm gonna tell you right
I'm
now.
ready for you not to be here for 3 days. To be honest.
I have to confess to you, John.
Well, you did no prep for the show, and you've been thinking about the wedding all day.
No, not that.
Okay.
I have checked out.
Yeah. So, Jim, you've checked out since basically I met you.
No,
Jim
that's
just
not
made a
true.
confession that he's checked out.
No. Okay. Listen. I take that back. I haven't checked out. But there's a lot on my mind
What
right
are you
now.
talking about? You've checked out. You're eating Fritos. You're drinking Coke.
So
you're talking
drinking
golf.
Coke?
Yes, but I am also. I've booked 3 guests.
Okay.
You wrote 1 question for the wrap.
Okay. And then
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So here's the thing. In the start of the show,
I'm listening.
I knew exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah, the Padres.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Hey, John, the old school radio would be like, hey, John, I'm going to have this take. And then you have this take. So then we can have like dueling takes. And it could be
New school radio is let's just go on the air and figure it out.
Well, new school radio is, hey, I'll wait to tell you on the air. Because if I tell you beforehand, what's the point?
Dude, stop. You just said you've checked out.
Yeah, I've checked out.
Okay, so you're here tomorrow?
So, yeah, I guess.
What do you mean you guess?
Technically, I'm
You're here tomorrow.
My physical body.
You're on the wrap-up show tonight.
My physical body will be here tomorrow.
You're on the wrap-up show tonight.
Yeah.
And then you're bailing for the week. Meanwhile, I'm the one, Brent. I got a full slate of shows. I've got a wedding to get ready for on Saturday. I'm not getting married. But I got more speaking parts than Jim.
No, you don't.
Maybe not. You have the vows, but I'm up there.
I have the vows. I have to do everything like to get ready for the wedding. Like you're there and you are the officiant. What are you trying to say?
I am not saying anything. I am already tired and it's Monday. Thinking about this wedding. I got to get a haircut. I'm basically getting married. I got to get a haircut. I got to pick up a tux. I got to do the walkthrough for the rehearsal.
Haircut?
Yeah, but it's Jim's wedding.
Oh.
I got to meet all these people.
Did you just get a haircut?
I got to smile.
Man, you've got a lot of work there, John.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Well,
oh my.
I have to do a lot too. Like
what's your biggest like concern between now and the wedding? That everything goes all right for Aaron?
Well, there's a lot of concerns.
Okay.
One of my groomsmen is going through a little bit of a family crisis right now.
Okay.
And so like my mind's kind of there, and I don't even know if he's going to be at the wedding now. So that's a bit of a thing that's on my mind. Secondly, like family coming to town and transporting all of our wedding stuff to Oceanside and making sure we have everything. That's on my mind. And then making sure everybody is like present and having a good time. And then also making sure that I spend time with Erin and not have this week go by where I don't see her and like a lot of,
okay,
yeah.
That's reasonable. So you have a lot to think about.
I have to also go get my hair cut. Like in the
also
middle
get my
of
haircut.
like this golf thing here that we all planned. And by the way, Aaron's dad won't be able to be golfing with us anymore because he threw out his back. So
should we just bang this thing? Because we have Padres Yankees this weekend. Can we try again?
And that was like a big thing for us is that we planned this big golf day on Thursday. And now, unfortunately, Joe can't be playing in it.
Okay. So do you want to come in the studio? We can do a show.
Absolutely not. Because I'm still golfing.
You're still going to golf. You're just going to be out there alone golfing.
Well, it's not just me and Joe. It's me, my dad, my uncle, my stepbrother.
Bring them all to the studio. By the way, developing story in the WNBA. This whole idea, Caitlin Clark is going to draw eyeballs, right? Well, she's got to be healthy. And she has left a game tonight with an apparent ankle injury. Caitlin Clark for the 0-3 Indiana Fever has left a game. I'm watching the replay, Jim.
Oh, that's not good.
And it doesn't look great.
Oh, that's not good.
She is clutching her left ankle.
That doesn't look like a contact injury.
No, before she fought through a screen. So Caitlin Clark, who has already brought a lot of people to televisions this first week or so of the WNBA season.
This is an ESPN game too.
Yeah. So she is currently in the locker room for the Indiana Fever.
Yeah. Not the greatest start to her WNBA career.
That's an
The
understatement.
team has been awful. They've lost by like 20 points.
There's a reason why.
She was the first pick. I get it.
Their team got the number one overall pick because they suck. But yeah, that's a non-contact injury right
It doesn't
there.
look great.
No.
The other thing I saw earlier today, take me through this time again. I don't want to go back here, but I'm going to do this for 1 second because of what Keenan Allen put on social media today. Did you see this?
Oh boy.
His first thing he put on social media about like leaving the Chargers organization was to all my Charger fans, I love you all unconditionally. San Diego, you guys took me in with no questions asked. There's no limit to the love I have for the city. And then in all bold like caps, the best city I've ever been in. But wasn't Keenan Allen a proponent of leaving San Diego in 2017? Isn't that as the story goes?
He didn't care.
He didn't care, or he said he was pro leaving?
He's the guy that came here, and within the first week, he was caught wearing a Raiders hat.
Right. So do you buy? I guess what I'm asking is, do you buy this? What he put on social media? The best city I've ever been in, San Diego. You guys took me in with no questions asked. There's no limit to the love I have for the city. Have you felt that from Keenan Allen the last decade?
How many years has Keenan Allen played in LA with the Chargers?
Well, they left a lot. Six, 7.
He's more of a LA Charger than a San Diego Charger.
Of course, nobody is. I mean, how many years was he in San Diego?
4.
And it's what, 6 or 7 in LA?
7 in LA.
So you don't buy it?
It's literally, it means nothing to me. I think it doesn't mean much at all. And the fact that we're even talking about it's kind of crazy. But at the same time, maybe it does resonate with some. But
well, I thought he was the guy that said, like, I want to go to LA.
He was the guy that was like bashing the fans for having that stadium be half full with the opposing fan base.
But he's got a love that's going to last forever. It's the best place he's ever been in his life.
Okay, whatever. I mean, he had one good year here. The rest of them were
he had some good years in Carson, man.
Very good years in LA. And very good years
soccer stadium.
I mean, once the Chargers left, he became an all-pro. Think about that.
Bashing the fans here. Imagine the fans he's seen in Los Angeles the last 6-7 years. Oh, he's seen a lot of red. He's seen a lot of black. He's seen some silver. He's seen some gold. He's seen a lot of everything.
Be careful what you ask for.
All right, on the other side, Padres going for a sweep tonight of the Atlanta Braves on the road. Plus, Alan Sleewell will join us at 5:30. We'll get into the conference finals in the NBA. It's hour 3 of Jon and Jim. It's next.
This update's brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres Braves, game 4 of the 4-game series. Padres looking for a 4-game sweep, but they're trailing the Braves right now 3-0, top of the 7th inning there. Over the weekend, Xander Schauffele won his first career major at Valhalla, posting a 21 under par, a birdie on 18 to win the PGA Championship. And the Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals are set. It will be the Timberwolves versus the Mavericks and the Pacers versus the Celtics. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even on the same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert.
San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 3, Jon and Jim with you until 6 p.m. Alan Sliwa, ESPN LA. Great voice on the NBA will join us coming up at 5:30. We'll get into the conference finals in the East and the West, so stay tuned. He'll join us in 30 minutes. Now, this Padres-Braves game may go final over the next hour. If so, you may hear from Mike Schill. The Padres are trying to do something that 3 days ago, Jim, seemed almost impossible to envision. They were going to Atlanta, where the Braves were 15-5 this year. The Padres are coming off a home sweep at the hands of the Colorado Rockies. Lo and behold, 3 days later, the Padres have won the first 3 games of the series. Now they're trailing today 3-0 in the 7th inning in game 2 of this doubleheader, but still a pretty remarkable weekend and beyond for the Padres in Atlanta.
This kind of a little bit, just stay with me. It kind of feels like after the Dodgers series last week at home, you're like, okay, you played really good baseball, took the series. We'll see what happens in game 2 here. But even if they happen to lose this game, I'm not going to count them out. They're only down 3-0. They
don't lose on the road.
Right. They're going to win 5-3. But taking 3 or 4 from Atlanta, if they do not win this game right here in game number 2, you look at that as like that's a major accomplishment.
Huge
that's a
win.
major win there.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to Cincinnati, a team that is below you in the standings. You don't want to wipe away all the good that you just did versus the Braves.
Sure.
You know, losing the series to Cincinnati coming up here, you'd still have a winning road trip, still 4-3 road trip, but you're also sitting there saying to yourself, yeah, that could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot better. I trust this team on the road. I don't trust this team at home yet. So yeah. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not sitting here saying that that I feel like it would happen, because this team is just a different team on the road. They wipe away bad losses on the road like that.
Dude, to your point, and you never say never because of the Colorado series, and it's baseball, as many would say. So you never say never. The Cincinnati Reds, they haven't just like fallen off a cliff. Like, they've fallen off like the earth. They are 3-15 in their last 18 games.
Since they played the Padres?
Good question. No, it's in there. That's part of it.
That's part of it? Okay.
So they're 3-15 since they beat the Padres in the series opener, 5-2.
Got it.
They have since gone, 3-15, Jim. That's crazy. At one point, this team was 4, 5, 6 games over 500. So
Elliot Cruz is like 70 stolen bases already.
True, but they always say it's not who you play, it's when you play them. This is when you want to play them. Yeah. They're in a complete and utter tailspin. Padres are playing, again, assuming, they have won the series. So they've won 5 of 6 series. You're going to Cincinnati against a team that's 3-15 in their last 18 games. Just go win the series. And then you come back 5-2 trip potentially, and you should feel great about where you are. You'd feel great if you secure a 5-2 trip.
We're going back to the question, can the Padres play well against a bad team?
True. Yes.
Because they look amazing versus the Braves in this series, and they could go right around and look like they did versus the Rockies versus the Cincinnati Reds.
Yep.
That you don't want that to happen. I'm not saying it can't happen,
Mm-hmm.
but you're also saying to yourself, can you guys just be consistent and play good baseball against the bad teams? Because that is going to kind of make or break your season. Because if you don't play well against the bad teams, well, guess what? You're probably not going to make the postseason.
More bad teams than good teams, right?
Yep. You're going to face more bad teams this year than good teams in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
So it's how you do against those teams that are going to determine your fate. And especially playing really well, you don't want to go and then play a series versus a bad team and end up losing that series or play poorly. And then Mike Schultz to come out and tell everybody they didn't get outplayed again.
Right. It's a good point. So, okay, to your point, because we said earlier, hey, the Padres are one of the best teams in the National League against teams that are over 500, and that's accurate. But again, the other side of that conversation is what you just said. That means they've been bad against bad teams. Then the other thing they have to figure out, and I've been saying this in the wrap-up show, I'd rather be good on the road and quote-unquote bad at home than the opposite. There's no assurance a bad road team ever gets good. Like there are bad road teams all year long. Uh-huh. It's much more likely a bad home team becomes good because you're playing at home. And we had these conversations last year about the Padres. They started slow. They were under 500 at home into July. And then they actually did turn it on. And they ended up 5 or 6 games over 500 at home. I have faith, and maybe it's blind, that they will be better than 500 at home. I know they're 10-16. So they have work to do, a lot of it, but they have a lot of opportunities to do it. But being a good road team, like easier said than done. Like there are good teams that aren't good on the road. The Padres right now are 15-8 on the road. Like that's unbelievable. They're winning 65% of the time on the road. I'll take that and deal with the other side of it and just trust that they get it figured out.
I saw this in the chat earlier today on YouTube. By the way, check us out on YouTube, Jon and Jim 760. Hit the subscribe button. Last year, the Houston Astros, John, they won their division. They won 90 games. Guess what their road record was that year?
Ooh.
Well,
what was their overall
last year?
What was their overall record?
90-72. Actually, let me rephrase that. What was their home record last year at 90-72?
I will tell you that their home record, Jim, was 51-30.
Correct. Their record was 51-30. Their home record was 39-42.
That's a complete one of one.
But that is the most recent example of a team. I don't think the Padres are going to win 90 games. I'll say I'm wrong. I'll be the first person to say I'm wrong if they do. But that is an example of a team that was a much, much better road team than a home team.
But that works.
And you could, if you do that formula, you play 20 games over 500 on the road, then you're allowed to be a 500 team at home.
Yeah, but I don't trust that formula to your point.
Yeah,
because
it's a hard formula to
like, okay, they might be really good on the road this year, and they might finish 4, 5, 6, 8 games over 500 on the road. That's awesome road baseball, right? The grand scheme. But that doesn't equate to like the Astros did, which is 20-something games over 500.
21 over.
And again, is it impossible? You can't say impossible right now. But do we have faith? Padres fans, I'm talking to you. You have faith the Padres are going to play 20 games over 500 on the road this year? 20? No. So the point is they're going to have to win at home. I don't know. What is it about home? Circumstance? What is it? I mean, is it just dumb luck?
I can't explain it.
Too many fans?
No idea.
Fans are too good?
No, it's
They're
not
too loud? Having too much fun?
I will push back on that all day long.
What?
That the pressure gets to this team.
No, well, I don't think it does. Isn't there more pressure is there less pressure on the road? Isn't it intimidating to play on the road in sports? Road teams don't win as often on the road.
Well, you're not getting booed by your own fan base on the road.
But even in baseball, dude, home teams have better records than road teams. Do they not? Home teams have better record than road teams, right? In baseball?
Yeah.
So it's easier to win at home.
Unless you're the Padres.
Right, exactly. I mean, obviously there's examples. Yeah.
10-16 at home.
I know.
And they're 15-8 right now on the road.
Right. It's crazy. 180 stuff.
14-9 versus teams
over 500.
Over 500.
Which means what are they against teams under 500?
That would be 11-15.
Is that right? Good job. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, because 5. Yeah, that's right. 11 and 15.
Okay.
Like you said, though, because you're going to play a lot of teams like Cincinnati coming up, like Colorado, like the San Francisco Giants, whomever. Arizona right now is under 500. You're right. There's more teams right now that are under than over.
I mean, if they're just playing the Dodgers, the Braves, the Cubs, the Brewers,
win 94 games.
They're the greatest team ever.
Right.
But you're not. You're going to be facing the White Sox at some point. You're going to be facing the Angels at some point. You're going to be facing the Marlins coming up here next week after the Yankees series. You're going to be facing the Rockies again, the Diamondbacks, the Giants, right? You're going to be facing the Reds coming up here starting tomorrow afternoon. The Pirates, the Cardinals, the Nationals, right? The A's at some point. So yeah, the teams I just named, there's a bigger group of average to below average to bad teams that you'll be playing this year than the good teams remaining on their schedule.
How do we explain this? Like, this is a serious, legitimate question. And I think I said like a week ago, I don't even need to get to the bottom of it. It's just factual. Why is it that this team has had so many big offensive innings? I mean, so many. I don't have the list in front of me, but they're top 3 in baseball in 4 more runs in an inning this year. I mean, they've had so many of these instances, including today. They had a 4-run inning and 4-run inning in their comeback for the 6-5 win. How do we? It's not like it's Manny Bogey Toddy. So how do we explain so many quote unquote big innings?
I think this team is a really good team when they get going at moving the line. They're not a power hitting team. They're not the Yankees with Judge, Soto, and Stanton. Like, they do have power in the lineup. They just don't hit many home runs. And I think they're really good at moving the line. And when you move the line consistently, you're going to have big innings, right? Because usually it's like get a runner on, hit a 2-run home run, and then the inning's over.
Right.
You take off all the base runners off the base pass, you kind of now have the pitcher on the mound, not worrying about crowded base pass.
Yeah. Well, there's been walks, singles.
They put pressure on. They don't like have this crazy strikeout rate. They walk a lot. And I think that right there, moving the line, is something why I could point to as the reason why they have these 4-run innings and big innings in these games.
But it's still amazing. This team was as bad as it got a year ago.
It was very bad.
In terms of, not in terms of overall record, they weren't. They were average. They were 82 and 80. They were worse than that for most of the year. But they were just a very mid offense, and they really struggled for the big inning. They could score, but they couldn't put together 4-run innings very often at all. I have no idea how many 4-run innings they had last year. I wouldn't be shocked if they had as many 4-run innings this year as they had all of last year. I mean, that's how remarkable it's been. And the reason I bring it up is here they're 3-0 in the 8th inning. But this is the team, and I'm dead serious when I say this. I'm like, they're the type of team that finds ways where a year ago it's like, well, they find ways to lose. This is the type of team that
on the road.
Yeah, maybe
on the road.
8-0
Okay.
8-0 they trailed against the Cubs at home.
But that is just one game. The other game would be the Dodgers on that Friday night.
At home?
At home. Those are 2 games.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're not like find ways to win at home.
Yeah, but they had like no come from behind wins last year anywhere. Very few multiple run comebacks a year ago. Very few.
So basically, the solution is for the rest of the year,
fall behind.
Petition Major League Baseball to play the remainder of their games on the road.
And just trail like 3-0 early and then just win.
Sorry, Group Dog. All the revenue that you were expecting
next year,
probably not going to happen this year.
But the Padres are going to win 99 games.
You guys are going to win a lot of games and probably be in the World Series.
Right, which that's great.
And you're not going to have any more home games, but hey, at least the fan base will be happy.
Just start playing every game at 9:20.
They're really good during the day.
Yeah.
They're really
breakfast
good on the road.
Games, they're really good.
9:20.
Yeah, it's just
the time they started.
How about, I have an idea. How about every single Padres game gets going at 3:00?
I like that too.
I like that.
Well,
I like that
only
idea.
weekdays. They can
Only
play anytime
weekdays.
on the weekend.
Yes, 3 p.m. start times for every Padres game.
Like, so from 3 to 6, the game would be going on.
Yes, just to really stick it to us.
I like that.
I like it a lot.
Well, it's not like they're going to be playing at 3 all week long.
Oh, wait. Yeah, they are.
All right, so right now the update in Atlanta is the Padres are going for a 4-game road sweep. Atlanta trying to salvage game 4. It is Atlanta 3, San Diego nothing. They're the top of the 8th inning. If this game does go final within the next 30 minutes or so, we may hear from Mike Schilt. We heard from Mike Schilt earlier. The other significant story with the Padres, I said earlier, is it win a battle, lose a war. You've lost Xander Bogaerts. For how long, we have no idea. He suffered a shoulder injury, made a really good diving play, and suffered a shoulder injury earlier today. We know he hasn't hit. We know he had come to life a little bit over the last week. And now, Jim, we just kind of wait. Do they put him on the IL? Do they let him, rest on it in Cincinnati for a day or two, play, quote unquote, a man down, and hope to get him back for game 2 or 3 in Cincinnati or when they get home? But, heading into the year, if you would have told me Xander Bogaerts suffered an injury, that would be a significant storyline for the Padres, obviously.
You obviously hope that he's okay, and this is not a serious injury that he's going to miss significant time, because I do think if he did, that would be a problem.
I just don't know.
But the way that he has been playing at the plate, I don't know how much they're really going to miss him.
I don't know either.
Like, I don't even know if it will be noticeable. Like, maybe not, because he wasn't really doing much anyway.
Right.
I mean, lately he's been swinging the bat better, but
I kind of hate saying that, honestly.
I do too. But it's a fact. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, missing Xander Bogaerts in this lineup isn't the worst thing in the world.
Right. With his .581 on base percentage plus slugging percentage, among the lowest in baseball for regulars.
Here's the players that I put above Xander as far as like, if you lost them, it would mean more. Luis Arraez, Fernando Tatis Jr., Jake Cronenworth, Jerkson Profar, and Manny Machado. And Jackson
more than that.
And Jackson Merrill and Campusano, just because of the positions they play.
Right. So basically, you're saying every position player other than maybe a Hassan Kim?
Yeah.
And you could actually honestly argue that Kim's defensive value is so significant that you would be hampered by not having him.
I mean, what would this team do if they didn't have Luis Arraez right now? Because
Right.
it's a very easy fix. Guess what? Luis Arraez is back to playing second base every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Your DH, probably a combination of Donovan, Solano, and Manny alternating.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing.
When Manny doesn't play the field, Donovan Solano's your DH. When Manny is out in the field, vice versa, whatever. So, I mean, realistically, it's not like the end of the world. The only thing that would be the end of the world if this turned into a significant injury, because then you just lose a depth piece to your team and a professional hitter.
Let me ask you this. If it's, yes, depth is a storyline. Let me ask you this. What role is he playing? Like, are we missing something with Bogaerts in terms of, hey, here's a 2-time champ. Even if he's not hitting, even if he's quote unquote not producing, he's still playing a role to push this thing forward or not? Or is it as simple as the guy's got a sub 600 OPS, he's actually hurting you as opposed to helping you? As in, is there something behind the scenes that will be missed if they don't have Xander? And who knows, the guy could be in the lineup tomorrow. I have no idea.
He is he's right now, John, a net negative.
Is he?
How can you argue that he's a positive?
That's what I'm asking.
It's just a fact.
I mean, his WAR is negative.
So with that being said, you're not missing anything.
Right.
The only thing you're missing is the depth, which it would be nice to have with Xander. And I think his track record, at some point you feel like he's going to baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But it's with how he's playing in the world, he's going to miss time. Hopefully, maybe this is just 2 days. Maybe this is just a week thing. I don't know. But while he is out of this lineup with this shoulder injury, I feel like no one's going to really notice.
By the way, on cue, Padres trailing 3-0, completely listless on offense, not against Chris Sale. Here's Johnson comes on, and a pair of hits in the 8th brings the tying run to the plate again for the Padres. Remember, in Game 1 earlier today, this morning, they trailed by 3 in the 8th inning and scored 4 runs to win the game, eventually 6-5. And here they are with the tying run at the plate again against Atlanta. And it's just amazing. Even if they don't win the game, they do not go quiet. And I give a ton of credit for it. And you can put the credit anywhere you want. If it's station-to-station stuff, they just believe. If it's Mike Schilt, if it's the new hitting coach, I don't really know what it is, nor do I care. But the truth is the truth. They've done this consistently for the better part of these 50 games. It's impressive. The crazy part is, if they don't win this game, there's 25-25. It feels like they've done a lot to be 25-25 to me. But again, I like the trends of this team fighting over the course of 9 innings and getting back into games.
this team will be a 500 team unless you get some big-time performances from your stars. That's what we've been saying all along. They will be continuously around 500 unless they have some breakout here from anybody else other than Jerks and Profar on this team. And Jake Cronenworth.
Right.
Like, the best hitters on this team right now, none of them are paid over $20 million or $15 million.
Right.
Or $10 million.
Cronenworth is like 10.
Cronenworth's like 10. Yep. Arise is over 10, but he's not getting paid by the Padres this year.
True.
Jerkson's making $1 million. Jackson Merrill's making the minimum. You know, it's like, it's crazy to say that the best players on this team are all, you know, their contracts are equal just one of Manny Machado's contract year.
And that's why I agree with you. It's like, to really get going, you need those guys. But amazingly, they're in a position, even without those guys, that they've been beyond competitive. And they put themselves in a position where they could do this all year and potentially qualify for the postseason, even without Manny being Manny and without Toddy being Toddy.
So back to the Bogarts point is, so I'm saying it's not really you're going to miss him at all because he's giving you nothing. But then the other side of the coin is like, well, what if he did give you something?
Right.
Then you're missing that potential and you're missing an opportunity to separate from 500, hopefully, with one of your stars actually producing and performing. So you lose that opportunity to see that.
Yes, you're
happening.
missing the ceiling, the potential of what it would look like. Because truth be told, last April, the guy flat out hit. Last September, the guy flat out hit.
Amazing.
He is capable of a 370 month. I've seen it. His April was unbelievable. We thought, wow, what a great signing.
6 home runs in April.
So, and I'm going back to a year ago.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, so, and that's not that long ago. To say that's not possible is not accurate. It is possible. He is capable of having a really good month, and he was actually having a nice week before this injury. So, yeah, I think you're losing the ceiling and the upside if you don't have him. But in terms of what he's meant to your team so far this year,
nothing.
Not much.
And I don't mean it like absolutely nothing, but production-wise, not a lot. I mean, has he had a hit with runners in scoring position?
Yes. This year?
No. Since April 26th.
I don't know. He had to.
Did he have one the other day versus the Braves? I know he had a couple hits.
I don't know.
So
maybe.
Again, not missing much here with Xander, but what you are missing is that potential. You're missing that guy that, if he did get hot, would be a huge boost to this team in the middle of that lineup. So you're missing that. But I think with Donovan Solano and Wadey, you know, you're getting the same production from those. You get the same production from those guys, maybe a little better than what Xander's giving you right now. It just now puts more pressure on Manny and Tatis to really step it up here and start performing to their capabilities and to their level.
ESPN LA's Alan Sliwa. He is a San Diego native and a Padres fan. We'll talk to him about his impressions of the Padres Plus. He'll get us ready for the Eastern and Western Conference Finals in the NBA. He'll join us next.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, so I know the feeling because I'm experiencing it right now. You're hungry. It's late in the day. You're picking up the kids. You're looking for something, but you want it to be healthy before dinner. Look no further than Almond RX packs. You can eliminate the vending machine from your day, and you can eat healthier, and not just healthier, but also a tasty snack that curbs hunger, and you're going to get your daily immunity booster and your daily dose of vitamin D as well. Look no further than Almond RX. Hey guys, it's Schaefer. Almond RX is the first and only skinless almond fortified with vitamin D. You get your daily serving of 23 almonds. This company was founded by a San Diego sports medicine physician. Almond RX packed with nutrients. I'm talking about to support your heart health, cellular health, gut health as well. You can find Almond RX at any Foodland in San Diego County Harvest Ranch in Encinitas, or at almondrx.com. In fact, if you go there right now, almondrx.com, you'll get free shipping on all orders of $25 or more. You heard me right. Go to almondrx.com and get free shipping on all orders of $25 or more. Almond RX curbs hunger. Trust me, and it's perfect for the on-the-go lifestyle.
This update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres Braves, game 2 of their doubleheader. Padres looking for the 4-game sweep, but they trail the Braves 3-0, bottom of the 8th inning there. Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals are set. It'll be the Mavericks taking on the Timberwolves and the Pacers taking on the Celtics. And in golf yesterday, Xander Schauffele won his first career PGA major, winning the PGA Championship with a birdie on 18 at Valhalla to get the win. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even on the same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert.
Time anywhere, whether you're stepping out of the car or settling in at home. Just ask your Google or Alexa smart speaker to play AM 760 or stream it live through the iHeartRadio app. It's never been easier to stay connected with your favorite shows like this one. San Diego Sports 760 goes where you go. We have Alan Sliwa, San Diegan, Padres fan, ESPN LA, host of Lakers Talk as well. With us to talk some Padres. We'll talk about the conference finals. We can even talk about who may be the next head coach of the LA Lakers as well. But Alan, we always appreciate it here in San Diego. How do you explain what's going on here with the Padres? Losing, actually not just losing, getting swept at home by the Colorado Rockies, but responding and winning 3 consecutive games in Atlanta.
I think it's the definition of like an unhealthy relationship. Times it's just great. It's going really, really good. Other times you guys are yelling at each other in a hotel and basically saying, why don't we just part ways here? Man, it's the Rockies series was leading up to the Rockies series. You take 2 or 3 from the Dodgers, obviously you're feeling really good. I think it was 4 series in a row that they won. It was so devastating to watch them lose those 3 against the Rockies. It was so demoralizing. I think that kind of left the taste of like, all right, I'm not really sure what this team is, but damn, if they've played some pretty decent ball over the last couple of weeks, and then now against the Braves, look, will they probably come back and win this game? Probably not. You're going to take 3 or 4 from the Atlanta Braves. I mean, that's incredible. I think everybody will feel great about that. I think the next step, I mean, listen, I've been saying this, and Jim, I know we connected a while back, and it was kind of hang around 500. They'll be 500 if they end up losing this game. At some point, you got to make a little bit of a move here. There's the difference between where the Padres are sitting and 4 or 5 spots below them. If you go look at the loss column, it's not much. So it's good where they're at, but at some point you got to also kind of start looking to see, can you catch the Cubbies? Can you catch somebody in front of you? Get 5-6 games over 500. So you're not always just looking at this wild card thinking that you lose 2-3 in a row, you could be out of the mix.
Well, as long as they play every game on the road, Alan, everything should be fine. So yeah, I think that's the new strategy. Just play every game on the road, and this Padres team will be good. But yeah, taking 3 or 4 in Atlanta, if they lose this game, is definitely, after what happened last week with the Rockies, a huge win there. Alan, I want to move to your prediction of the Timberwolves being the team that, getting to the NBA Finals here, and it looked kind of bleak there for a second versus the Nuggets. But I mean, what did you make of Game 6 blowing them out, and then Game 7 the other night coming back from a 20-point deficit to move on to the Western Conference Finals?
So I think, and part of the reason why I said Minnesota is it was coming off the Lakers series, and I got to see Denver for 5 games, right? So I'm watching the Nuggets very, very closely. And I thought last night was a perfect example of the difference between the Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Jokic was great. Jamal Murray was great, for the most part, not the entire. He was great in the first half and kind of tapered off there. But you look at his overall points, he was still good and he was effective. They were great, and they still lost the game. Anthony Edwards was bad yesterday. I know everybody wants to continue to make these Jordan comps, and everybody's got to relax here. But anyways, 6 of 24, he wasn't good. He wasn't. I'm talking about from an efficiency standpoint, he wasn't good. Was he entertaining? Was he playing defense? Was he doing some other things? Absolutely. But without their best player, they still won the game. They have 8 or 9 guys they could depend on night in and night out. Not every guy has to deliver every night, but Jaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert yesterday was good. Karl Anthony Towns was good. Mike Conley hit some big shots. Naz Reid was incredible. So I think what I make of it is they got great depth. And I think sometimes in the NBA, we look at just the stars. You got to have role players that contribute. Lakers don't have enough consistent role players. That's why they're, sitting at home. Denver didn't have enough role players contribute yesterday. That's why they're sitting at home. Minnesota is one of the few teams in the entire NBA where they go 8-9 deep, and I thought that was going to be the difference coming in. And yesterday, I thought that was a perfect example of it, especially because Anthony Edwards didn't play well.
So looking forward here, Mavericks and Timberwolves. Timberwolves, I think, won the season series 3-1, and it wasn't even particularly close between those two teams. Are you still sticking with the Mavericks as the team to make it to the NBA Finals here out of the West?
You mean the T-Wolves?
Sorry, Minnesota. My bad.
I was going to say, okay, so here's the thing. I will say this about Dallas. I think 3 of those, or I think all those matchups, if I'm right, I might be off by a game here. So this was before the trade deadline. Dallas is a completely different team since that trade deadline. They got real contributors getting real minutes that weren't there before. So I wouldn't pay too close attention to what happened during the regular season. I think I'm underrating Dallas. I think, for some reason, I just kind of have this in my gut that not that they're going to cruise, but I would take Minnesota in 6 games. I think Dallas will probably make it closer than we think. I think it's easy right now to just kind of take the team that is, they swept Kevin Durant, Devin Booker in the first round. They took out the defending champs of the Denver Nuggets. I have a difficult time trying to pick Dallas in the series, so I definitely got Minnesota in the finals.
Alan Sliwa, the host of Lakers Talk and more at ESPN LA, with us right now on Jon and Jim. Let's segue to the Lakers. Who do you suspect or theorize to be their next head coach?
I'm just going to assume it's going to be JJ Redick. I think there's a little song and dance of, they think James Borrego and Sam Cassell, and you hear some other assistant coaches being named off. I think it's going to be JJ Redick, and that this isn't any intel. It's just my feeling, just based on what I've just kind of listening to some of the different chatter and the conversation, and Shams Charania of The Athletic coming out today and saying, Bron has no input on the coach, and I think it's a little bit of a show. I think when the dust settles, I feel like they're going to give JJ Redick an opportunity to have his first head coaching job as a Los Angeles Laker, as the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. And, you take with it what you want. The track record for the front office, not good over these last 13 years. They've had 6 different coaches in these last 13 years. Even if you win an NBA championship like Frank Vogel did, you only lasted 3 years. So it's an interesting job. It's a job where the prestige is there. Obviously the popularity, the franchise. You're king, I think, if you can turn this Lakers thing around. But at the same time, they haven't really had any coach that they felt like has been sustainable that could be there for a long period of time. And it doesn't, why would I think differently that something different's going to happen? If JJ Redick is named the coach tonight, and 3 years from now he's no longer the coach, that shouldn't shock anybody or surprise anybody. But I feel like it will be JJ Redick when the dust settles.
Would it surprise you also if Ronnie James is in the Lakers next year?
Surprise, no. I think, LeBron earlier in the year, and I'm sure maybe he regretted this, maybe he didn't. He's the one that put it out there. He wants to play with his son. And, Bronny has come out over these last couple of days. They had the draft combine last week, and it's kind of like, look, I'm trying to make a name for myself. Unfortunately, he is the son of LeBron James, and he'll be considered that until he does make a name for himself at some point in the league. But would I be surprised? I wouldn't be surprised. What I would be surprised on is if the Lakers, who have a number 55 pick, decided to move up in the draft to go draft Bronny. But that I don't think you can cancel that out as an option because they will try to accommodate any way they can LeBron.
Alan, real quick before you go, any shot for the Pacers to get out of the East or not?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be Boston. And listen, I know for the Pacers, I know they're not getting any love. I think if Milwaukee's healthy, they would have beat them. I think if New York's healthy, they would have beat them. but this is part of the NBA. They all you got to do is just keep surviving, and they have survived a couple rounds, and they find themselves against the Boston Celtics, but Boston's too good. I think it's going to be Boston, Minnesota in the finals, and if Kristaps Porzingis is healthy, I'd lean towards the Boston Celtics.
Celtics, T-Wolves. Kind of like Celtics, Lakers, right? And the Lakers started in Minnesota, so it makes sense.
That's right.
All right, Alan Sliwa, San Diego. And of course, you can hear him on ESPN LA, Travis and Sliwa Show, Lakers Radio. Great stuff, Alan. We always appreciate your time. Thanks for hopping on. We look forward to doing it again soon.
All right, thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
All right, great stuff from Alan. All right, on the other side, Padres game has gone final. They win the series, but lose today 3-0. Plus Jim's back page. That's next. All right, Padres lose in Atlanta, but win the series 3-1. Plus Jim's back page is next. You can't win them all, but they did take 3 out of 4 in Atlanta.
They almost won them all.
They almost won them all. They lose game 2 of a doubleheader today, 3-0. They did lose Xander Bogaerts today to a shoulder. They had a remarkable comeback. We're talking about the Padres in game 1. They're going to have 5-0 fifth inning.
They could have been bad. They could have ended
They
up.
could have given it all back.
Yep.
But they trailed 5-2 in the 8th inning. I think that the net from today is a net positive. You come back from 5-0 down and split a doubleheader and win 3 out of 4. That's a net positive for me.
It is so hard to sweep a doubleheader in today's game. It just is because of the pitching and the bullpens. Like, a lot of guys can't pitch you can't have Robert Suarez pitching two games in one day.
No, you shouldn't.
Or Jeremiah Estrada.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you get the extra man now in baseball on the pitching side. Usually you have a set guys for one game and then a set guys for the other game. That's why it's just so hard to win, to sweep a doubleheader. And taking a split here, I am perfectly fine with it. Took 3 of 4. Job well done in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, we went into this saying you just got swept by the Rockies. You're going somewhere where the team is 15-5 at home, and you took 3 out of 4. That's a huge win, a momentum booster. Yes,
I'm not complaining.
They're 25-25, which you could look at it glass half full. Considering the lack of production from some of their stars is pretty impressive. Glass half empty, they're 25-25, and they've overcome deficits, and they've had big innings, and they've gotten good pitching from guys like Darvish and Cease. Why aren't they better than 25-25? But in this era of 3 wildcards, it's a business of hanging around, and they're doing more than that. Now, go take advantage of the series in Cincinnati and win it.
Yep.
Go win this series. You win this series in Cincinnati, come home on a 5-2 road trip.
Dude.
I think you have real momentum heading into that Yankee series. I really do.
And that's going to be an emotional series. And you're facing one of the best teams in baseball in a ballpark where you can't win.
Right. Yours.
So, yeah, I am not complaining one bit about today's split. Not even a little.
No, you can't. You can't.
There's nothing in today's second game of the doubleheader that I'm like upset about.
No, Chris Sale's been dominant this year.
They can't hit lefties, so it's understandable.
They do not hit left-handed pitching. And okay, they got shut out, but guess what? They also overcame a 5-run deficit today.
Yeah.
Today on the road, they against the A team. Like you said, typically you can only go for it in one game of a doubleheader. Atlanta went for it and lost the game. That's a recipe to get swept. They bounced back behind Chris Sale and won. But no, this is a net positive and a really good series for the Padres. I don't know what they're going to make of it, though, because they've been helter-skelter. I don't know if they'll take advantage of this or not this week in Cincinnati.
But, John, they've won 5 of their last 6
which is great.
Series.
Honestly, is great. And honestly, Jim, they might be a couple days away from having won 6 of 7 series.
I'm sure Schulte will be coming up with a fake stat how this is the first time the Padres have won 5 of 6 series since
Ever.
like 1973.
68, before the team existed when they won 5 of 6.
But, hey, if anybody's upset about game 2, don't be. They took 3 of 4. They did exactly what they needed to do.
Can we play this live for a moment or no? I know it's not on YouTube, right? Let's hear from Schulte for 60 seconds just to see what he has to say.
Good at bats the whole series, got some good pitching, and I thought Sale was really, really good. And change speeds. The secondary stuff was really good. The fastball had a life to it. Everything was good. We had some at bats today. Had a chance, grabbed the bag. Swing away from Tynan at the moment, but just he pitched really well.
Randy Vasquez seemed to take fairly good advantage of his extra opportunity to get a start.
Oh, there's any question. He did the ball very well. I mean, it's a tough lineup. He navigated, gave us 6 innings with, shorter bullpen from the last couple of days, and he gave us more than a chance to win. By definition, quality start. I thought he did the ball well. Ozuna put some swings on him, but no, he ran the ball really well. Continues to improve at the big league level.
Especially with the 5-run comeback today.
Yeah.
You got to be pretty happy to leave here with 3 wins, 3 out of 4. It's just got to be a pretty good bounce back series after the Rocky series.
Yeah, I mean, we know we're looking to win a series, and the guys played really well. Played good baseball the whole time, fought their tails off. Got the first one, just weren't able to get the second one, but we'll take 3 out of 4 and move on.
You guys have won 10 of your last 14 games here, dating back to 2021. What do you think the key is to the success in not an easy environment to play in?
No, it's not. I can't explain that.
Yeah.
I wish I could. We bottle it, but guys are ready to play here, and we have good results.
All right, Schulte.
I was afraid for that reporter's question. I thought Schulte would be like, wait.
What do you mean we didn't play well against the Rockies?
We played great against the Rockies. What are you talking about?
We outplayed them. We just got swept.
Yeah, we didn't get outplayed.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's a great series. I don't think there's any other way to spin it.
Nope.
I think it's a great series.
Great
yes,
series.
you could have gone 4-0 in the series, great. But 3 out of 4 on the road against the Atlanta Braves, a team that could represent the National League in the World Series, for all we know, is a great series.
It's hard to, especially a team was 15-5 at home coming into today, or coming into Friday,
the series,
coming into the series, and you take the first 3 games and you have a big comeback in one of them and you blow them out in the other, and you have a great pitching performance in game 2 and game 1 of the series.
You made Max Fried look mortal.
Yep.
You jumped on whomever the heck pitched yesterday,
Elder.
celebrating his birthday.
Yes, poor guy.
You came back against the 18 bullpen of Atlanta.
Yep.
And then you had Randy Vasquez. Okay, that's fine. You got Joe Musgrove tomorrow.
And he didn't have a blow up.
No, he was fine. 6 innings, 3 runs.
He saved the bullpen today in game number 2 because you had Brito pitching in the first game. You thought Cease was going to be the guy that gives you 6 innings. Well, he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And Vasquez gave you 6 here, three runs given up. Yes, he gave up 10 hits, but he saved the bullpen going 6. That's what you asked for. That's all you asked for.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I think you play this doubleheader 10 times.
Yeah.
And 9 of them, you don't get a game. What they did, coming back from 5-0 down.
Nope.
I mean,
great series.
Very good series. I think the odds or the probability at one point in the game 1, Atlanta had a 96% chance of winning that game. And the Padres stole game 1 and win the series.
It was a wee will.
It was a way. It was a way. All right, join us tonight on YouTube. We will have a wrap-up show for you, breaking down this doubleheader split between the Padres and the Braves at 9:30. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify for listening to the podcast. Please leave a review as well. You can find us on social media at Jon Jim, JONANDJIM. We're back tomorrow at 3 for Brent and Jim. I'm John. You've been here at San Diego Sports 760.